Good morning, everybody. Emily here. I'm excited to share the Chakra Oracle Insight card reveal with you guys. And of course, being springtime, apparently we've got a little spring fever down here. Okay, this is going to be a PG-13 reveal, just to let you know. If you have kids in the room, you might want to escort them out right now if you don't want to be answering questions. This is not a sexual dirty deck by any means, but there are maybe 4 or 5 cards in here that have naked women on them. And I think we pulled all of them up in this card reading. So just to let you know, you're about to see some boobs in the cards. Oh, so leave your teenager behind. I'm going to get my teenager out, shake my teenager out just a little bit right now, so we can talk about this with a straight face. All right. Okay. So for those of you guys who chose card A, this is the card that was revealed. We're starting out pretty mild here. All right. This woman is bringing forward the idea of pleasure and really bringing sensuality, indulgence, beauty, enjoyment to your life. And if you chose card A, if you were drawn to this card, this is an invitation from the space of your Akashic Records. Your masters, your teachers, your loved ones, your guides are bringing forward an awareness that you are spending too much time either thinking about the future, thinking about what bills you have to pay or what dinner you're going to make or the things that you need, the laundry you need to do if you're a housewife. If you're a businessman, you might be thinking of some deals that you have to do. Whatever it is that you're thinking about that's not being aware of the beauty around you in this moment, you need to bring it back in, rein it back in. See the difference? I'm projecting, I'm thinking about the things that need to be accomplished in my life, as opposed to being in the moment and taking in beauty all around me. All right? When we focus ourselves in the moment, in the present moment, we become all powerful. Okay? We can also exist in the past too. If you are playing over an argument that you've had with somebody, or maybe you are a business person, or you're a speaker, or you are a healer, and you're playing over in your mind how something didn't go quite the way you wanted to. Maybe a presentation didn't go the way you wanted it to, or maybe you were in a session with a client and you're thinking of all of the things that you should have said in the session as opposed to staying present in the moment. If that is you, and if you chose card number A, you are being invited to become very aware of all of the pleasure, the enjoyment that is around you in this moment. And it becomes very powerful when we begin to notice in this moment all of the amazing things around us that are here to support us, to make us feel good, to help us enjoy, be in joy of our life. Total different ballgame. So what I would like to bring through right now for you guys is a rewiring from the Akashic Records, okay? I am going to actually pause this video and go grab my crystal bowl, because that's what they're telling me to do in order to facilitate the rewiring. But I'm going to explain a little bit about what I'm going to do right before I do it. So even if you didn't choose card A and you would like this rewiring, you can go ahead and say yes, give your permission, and your guides will come in and do this rewiring for you. The rewiring that I'm specifically talking about is the societal paradigm of belief that says we are irresponsible if we are not thinking about the things that we got to do in the future, the bills we got to pay, right? The meetings that we need to attend, homework we need to do. Oh, there are no kids watching this right now. Okay. But you guys get the idea. Society tells us we're irresponsible if we are not actively planning for our future. And I hope that you can see that that is something that we've gotten carried away with. Of course, it's important to make sure that we're thinking about our future and planning for it. You know, I mean, like, let's take ourselves back to the time of before we lived in houses with grocery stores and we were hunting and gathering, and it was important to store food for the winter months, right? I'm not saying that that's something that we shouldn't do, but we've gone overboard in not even allowing ourselves to be present in the moment with our thought processes. So that is something that you've been conditioned based on the society that you live in. And it happens with the wiring of the brain, with the way the thoughts and the synapses fire off inside of your mind. So Spirit will come through and do some rewiring for you, which will make it actually easier for you to stay in the present moment. So if you would like this level of rewiring, even if you didn't choose card A, you can say yes at this time. And I'm going to use my crystal bowl. I'm going to go grab it. And what happens is think of this as a mechanism of sound healing. So the frequency that this crystal bowl will be creating for us creates a vibration of energy that allows these beings to more easily come into this dense field of energy, into our dense atmosphere, and do the work it is that we need to do. So look at this as kind of like a mechanism to allow the rewiring and the restructuring to happen. All right. The magic of cinema. Here I appear with my bowl. So I am going to play this crystal bowl. All I want you to do is just give your permission for the rewiring to happen. Focus on the head area. This is calibrated specifically to the crown chakra, which is about 12 to 18 inches above the top of your head. And you may feel something, you may not. It doesn't matter if you feel anything in your physical body, or if you are seeing visions, or if your mind goes blank. It doesn't matter. If you say yes and you give your permission, then you are receiving the energy healing today. Calling in the masters, teachers, the guides, our loved ones, our ancestors, and asking now for that rewiring, the disabling of the programs of our mind that cause us to not easily stay focused on our present moment. Feeling that rewiring, and now asking for that new wiring, that new mode of operation to be sealed in so that we don't slip back into our old patterns. And in gratitude, we thank the beings that are assisting us with this rewiring. So be it, and so it is. Awesome. Good job. All right. Card number 2. Here comes some boobs, so get ready. All right, so card number 2, sexuality. Perfect for springtime, the birds and the bees. I can't remember which one of you said it, so, and you guys generally, maybe you don't like to be called out by name, so maybe it's good that I can't remember which one of you said it, but somebody said, I'll take B for the bees. And I giggled because I knew what was coming. This is all about the birds and the bees here, right? Openness, sharing, beauty, and honor. Again, beauty coming through. Beauty in both of these cards. The idea of seeing beauty all around you in the present moment is what will help you to create a beautiful life. Furthermore, being very open in our sexuality is something that's really important, because the idea of the divine masculine and the divine feminine are coming together in unison, in one right now. And it doesn't matter if you are heterosexual, or you are homosexual, or you are bisexual. We all have those components of divine masculine and divine feminine within us. And when we incarnate into this human existence, there is because we take on a specific gender role, that divine masculine, divine feminine gets separated. And part of what we come to planet Earth to experience is what it's like to be separated and what it's like to come back into union. Okay, we separate ourselves from the God source, from spirit source, and we incarnate into these bodies that feel very separate. It looks separate from this realm that we experience it in. But in truth, in higher reality, there is no separation. And so part of what we're here to learn is to learn to move back into that union, to dissolve the separation, and to move back into that space. Now, what's happening specifically this year on the planet is there is that emergence of divine feminine and divine masculine. And when the divine feminine, divine masculine come together, what happens? That's where we create. That's where creation happens. And when you think about it very 3D, very linearly, very humanly, we think of when a man and a woman come together and they're having sex, that's when babies can be created. So when we bring it back down to a very human level, we begin to see, oh, I see that is a pattern, that is a structure of how new things are created. it happens within our being as well. So when the divine masculine and the divine feminine come together, and this is what's really coming through from the space of the Akashic Records right now, is to recognize an awakening. A Kundalini awakening is when the energy that is in the base of the spine, down located, rooted in the sexual organs of our body, starts to rise up in it, and it coils like a serpent. It's coming rising up, and it meets up in the crown chakra where the divine masculine energy is housed. Okay, what happens is there is an awakening, and we step into understanding the power that we have as beings to create through our energy, through our thoughts, through our behaviors and our actions. So it's not just about the physical reproduction and creation. It's about what happens when we come into union with the divine masculine and the divine feminine within our own being. Now, taking it back down to a very 3D level, many of us have experienced some kind of sexual trauma in our life. Whether it's being conditioned from not feeling comfortable talking about it, which you guys see me giggling like a teenager here when I talk about it. That's part of that conditioning, which makes it not easy for us to just talk about. I've actually written some really funny articles about trying to have these conversations with my kids. So I am not immune to these programs that run either. Many of us have had traumatic situations with either being abused or being raped or being in relationships where we shouldn't have been in those relationships. Obviously, there's a lot of learning that happens in those relationships. But the higher purpose of a sexual relationship, and human beings don't necessarily, all of us see it this way, but I want to share with you what's coming in. The idea of when a man and a woman, or a man and a man, or a woman and a woman, doesn't matter, when you're coming together with another individual and sharing that nature of sexual energy, there is a sharing of consciousness, of energy, of karma that's going back and forth between the two. So many times, not many times, all the time, when you are in a sexual relationship with somebody, the two of you are imprinting on each other. So when we see that, we begin to see, oh crap, I imprinted with that person, and maybe that wasn't the best thing to do. And we can see, oh, when I'm in this divine union and relationship and I'm imprinting with this person, that works a little bit better. So I want to invite you to begin to see that nature of sexuality as we imprint and we share consciousness back and forth with each other. Because there are civilizations off of this planet, and even some on this planet as well, where that kind of union and connection, it's not like they go into jealousy and all of the other relationship entanglements that we get into, but they recognize that is a way that they can imprint and share energy back and forth. Okay, so what the records want to bring through right now is a healing for all of, again, the paradigms of belief that we've taken on about our sexuality that allows us to not see it and use it in the way that it was meant to be used. I also want to bring your awareness to when you do have an actual orgasm, whether you're doing it by yourself or whether you're doing it with somebody else, that is an explosion of creative energy. So whatever is going on underneath, we're talking about like the thought programming, the things that are going on underneath those layers, all those subconscious layers of thought that are happening. Whatever's going on in your mind is in your awareness during that time when you have that alignment of energy, that explosion of energy, you're sending out very powerfully into the cosmos. So I want to bring your awareness to being able to use that as a tool for yourself, and not the fact that we're not aware that that's what's happening when we have an orgasm, that we're sending powerful energy out into the cosmos for the purpose of creating. Because if we're not aware of that, we will use it in a way that we're not even recognizing how it's affecting our lives. So I want to bring your awareness to that so you can use it for divine good in your life. Okay, so once again, I'm going to play the crystal bowl here. I want you to send your consciousness this time focusing down in the area of your sexual organs. You can be in the root chakra or the sacral chakra, wherever you feel comfortable. That's where your consciousness needs to be to receive this healing. And again, we're going to ask Spirit to come through and to do some rewiring and some healing in any areas where we've either taken on sexual trauma energy, where we have taken on that imprinting from being with lovers that we shouldn't have been with. And we also want to, there's one more thing that they were wanting to do. Oh, erase any kind of misconceptions about how this energy should be used based on what we've been taught or what we've learned. Allow our minds to really become open about what is possible and how it's possible to use this energy. Okay? So just again, focusing, sending your consciousness down into your lower belly, giving your permission, yes, for the healing to come in. A lot of female deities and guides coming in to work in this area. Kuan Yin is actually coming forward. Ma'at is coming forward. Mother Mary Magdalene, both coming forward. And we give thanks for that healing and rewiring. So be it and so it is. Alrighty. And one more. You get full boobs this time, okay? If you chose card C, this is an invitation to become aware of your physical health. All right? Vitality, strength, body image, and balance is very important for you. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that there's something going wrong inside of your body. I don't want you guys to freak out and be like, oh crap, I must be sick, I better get to the doctor. It doesn't necessarily mean that something's wrong with you, but it does mean that you want to bring awareness to your own physical health, and you want to bring awareness to your body image, okay? Because so many times how we think about our body is what our body, and I say so many times again, cut that all the time, whatever it is that we're thinking about our body, and especially what we're saying and projecting about our body or our body image, manifests itself physically within our structure, within our being. So it's very important that we learn to recognize that we can talk to our bodies. We're talking to our bodies anyway. Our thoughts, our words are talking to our bodies. We need to recognize that when we're talking to the cells of our bodies are rearranging themselves to manifest whatever it is that we're saying, thinking, and feeling about our bodies. So just like I was sharing about the idea of orgasms or creating things in our life, we need to be aware of how our words, how our thoughts, how our internal energies, the vibration of those energies are affecting our physical body. And we want to use that to our advantage. Right? We don't want to keep saying things about our body like, oh, I'm fat, or what, I don't even know what the bad things y'all are saying about your body is. But whatever it is that we are saying, we need to really bring that awareness to how we think about our bodies, how we feel. Maybe you're not body shaming yourself in calling yourself out for being fat, but maybe you're not loving your body. Maybe you're not loving the way that your body is functioning or the way that your body looks, and we got to shift that. We got to change that. Okay. One thing that I found that's really helped me, because I've had 3 children, and I'm pretty lean in terms of like, you'll definitely never hear me calling myself fat. If anything, I would call myself too skinny. Sometimes I'll be out on the beach and I'll feel like my ribs are showing, or like I'm flat chested, or and like I said, I've had 3 kids, so my butt is a little saggier than it used to be. I'm 40 now. When I went through a process of really being down on myself, and I think I've shared this with you guys before, there was a time in my life where my number one priority was saving for a boob job. I'll just be perfectly honest. That's what I was doing. And because it was so on my mind that my body doesn't look the way that it should or the way that I want it to, that it was like grinding on me. And so instead of moving forward in that area, which I'm not saying anything about plastic surgery. If you've had your boobs done, if you've had a nipper tuck here or there, not even commenting on whether I think it's the right thing to do. There are people who have experienced an extreme increase in their own self-confidence, and it can be compared to going out and getting yourself a new dress, okay? I'm just sharing you my personal experience. So what I decided to do, instead of moving forward with physically altering my body with surgery, was to learn to love my body for what it was, even though it's a little saggy in some areas and it's a little too skinny in some areas. So what I decided to do was every morning when I was in the shower, and I was, you know, you're washing your hair and you're washing your body, I would bring the energy of love and compassion for what my body has been able to do and create. 3 babies is no joke. One of them was very large, almost 10 pounds, I have to tell you. So I would bring the energy of love and compassion into my hands. And every time I was washing my body and moving my hands over my body, I would be sending that energy of love and compassion and gratitude for what it is that my physical vessel is capable of doing and what it has done. So that's one exercise that I invite you, if you have drawn cards C, that you can use as a really practical way to start shifting those paradigms of belief about how we feel about our body. And once again, I'll play the bowl for us. If you would like to receive this level of rewiring, go ahead and say yes. This level of rewiring is, again, for us to recognize that we've been programmed by our society, by magazine covers, by the shows, the TV shows that we watch, to look at body image to be a certain thing. And if we don't meet up to those images that we see, we automatically begin to run subconscious programs that say that we aren't good enough. And that's gotta go. All right, so in order to release all of those societal programs and paradigms that we've taken on, I'm gonna go ahead and play the bowl for us. I want you to center your consciousness this time in your heart space, because this is all about learning to love yourself. It's about being aware of the way that you're talking to yourself. So bring your consciousness into your heart space for this one. And bringing forward the masters, teachers, loved ones, guides, ancestors now coming to help us release the paradigms of what our society says our physical body needs to look like. And really coming into a space of love and compassion for who we are, for what this magnificent vessel is capable of doing. Receive this energy into your heart right now, allowing that restructuring, that rewiring to take place. Giving thanks for all we have received in these beautiful moments here together. So be it and so it is. Very wonderful. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this springtime healing, shifting, and changing that we've done here together. This has been fun. You guys can let your kids back into the room now. I invite you to join me again for these beautiful card readings. And if you feel that you would like a personal reading or a healing session, feel free to reach out to me, because we can facilitate something that is individualized and tailored to you. Namaste.